Yo, what's up, guys? Hope you guys are good. You know, I've been getting a lot of people sending me messages. They want me to make a review of the Zoom F6. Guess what? I got my hands on the Zoom F6 recorder. So today, we're going to be having a review of the Zoom F6 multi-track field recorder. Let's go. You know, for some weird reason, I thought there'll be more in the box besides the Zoom F6 and this attachment. I mean, there's literally nothing else in the box. Okay. The Zoom F6 multi-track audio recorder records a wide dynamic range. Each of the XLR inputs has an analog to digital converter. It also records a 32-bit float. The features of the Zoom F6 multi-track audio recorder are pretty unique. Now, at the front panel here, what you have are the 6 dials on both sides for controlling the inputs of the XLR. Also in front, you have the play button, you have the record button, and the stop button. Internally on the side, you also have menus for moving from one page to the other of the interface of the F6. Now, when we turn it towards the side, the first thing you find are the first 3 XLR inputs. On top here, you have the BTA adapter. Next to it, you have a line output. With this, you can connect it to your camera. And next to that, you have a way of powering the F6. When we turn it one more time, you also now find an SD card slot. Also, you have a space for using one of those SONY batteries to power up the Zoom. When you turn it one more time, you find the remaining 6 XLR inputs, named 4, 5, and 6. On top here, you have the power button. Next to that, you have a slot for controlling the timecode. Next to that, you have a jack for the headphone. And next to that, you have a way of controlling the volume that goes into the headphones. Now, I've come to discover that there are close to 4 ways of powering the Zoom F6. Now, you can either use a V-mount battery, or you can use a power bank that is strong enough, or you can use one of these SONY lithium batteries, or you can use AA batteries. But for the AA batteries, you'll need at least 4 of those batteries. So those, I mean, at least from the way I've used them, those are the 4 ways you can actually power up the Zoom F6. In terms of recording, there are different ways of recording on the Zoom F6. The Zoom F6 SD card slot uses regular SD cards. You can either use the SD or the SDHC or the SDXC. You can also use the USB interface. You can use the USB interface to record as well. Now, right now, I'm using the USB slot to power up the Zoom 6, but you can also use it as an audio interface, meaning you have to connect this to your laptop. Now, the Zoom F6 also records, I mean, you can basically do 14 tracks simultaneously. How? What you can do is you can record using 16-bit, the 6 channels, and then record another set, 32-bit, that's 12. And you can actually also record using the stereo mix of all the inputs. I mean, that's a lot, that's crazy. That's a lot of channels. Even though it says 6, if you do it properly, you can actually get 14. Now, in terms of recording, you can also record into the SD card and your audio interface simultaneously. But you need to understand that if you're going to be doing that, you would only be able to record up to 48 kilohertz. That's if you're recording into the card and recording into your laptop at the same time. But if you're recording into just one, you can record up to 192 kilohertz. You can also record up to 192 kilohertz. But you need to take into consideration that if you are recording at 192 kilohertz, you only be restricted to 2 modes. You'll either be able to record in 24-bit or 16-bit. So usually I would advise record slightly lesser, maybe like from 96 kilohertz up. That way you are able to utilize the 32-bit float. Because I mean, what's the point in recording and distorting and you have no means of bringing the volume down? So since this is a 32-bit recorder, it just makes sense to make use of a recording format that will give you access to the 32-bit float. The Zoom F6 recorder also features a high-pass filter and limiter on each channel. But here's my thought process. If you're recording a 32-bit float, there really would not be a need to use a limiter. Why? The reason why you'd want a limiter is to stop distortion in your recording. But if you are using 32-bit float and you can always bring the volume down, if it's too loud, then there is no point, because the thing with limiters is once you record using a limiter, you can't yank it out. So it's better off when you record without using the limiter, in my opinion. When it comes to syncing your audio and your video together, you can actually use the timecode sync on the Zoom F6. Now, how does it work? Basically, what the timecode sync does is help you sync your audio to your video in post-production. Now, truth be told is, if you really do not want to use the timecode sync, you may use your DAW. Now, a lot of people in Premiere, for example, like to use the synchronize. So basically what you do is you bring in your audio and you bring in the audio you are going to use, the one you probably worked on, you sync that with the video and then you click on synchronize and it syncs. If you don't want to go through that stress, you might want to use your timecode sync. It just makes your life like twice easy, really. That's all. One thing you should take into consideration is the fact that the Zoom F6 does not support Bluetooth, except, of course, you get one of those Zoom BTA 1 adapters and, attach it here. I don't really need one, so that's one of the reasons why I don't have one. Then another thing I need to bring to your notice is the fact that, if you remember at the very beginning, I was speaking about how the line out, you can actually use this cable for the line out to your camera directly. Now, you need to take into consideration that the fact that the Zoom F6 records 32-bit does not mean it's going to transfer 32-bit into your camera. No. Right now, as of today, most of the cameras we have do not record 32-bit float. Now, I don't know if the new SONY FX2 is going to support 32-bit float, but until they start making cameras that can actually record 32-bit float, don't think because you're recording 32-bit float here that the line output will output 32-bit float into your camera. No, you're not going to have that access. So your best bet, if you want to retain the fidelity of the audio, 32-bit float, then I would advise you record into the Zoom F6 using the SD card or transfer it into your laptop and use your laptop as an audio interface. That would be your best bet to using, to maximizing 32-bit float. Now, the Zoom F6 multi-track recorder also comes with an app. Now, here's the funny thing. The app is only available for those using the iOS. Now, please do not shoot me. You can go and find out from Zoom why there's not a version for Android. I mean, I don't know of any version for Android right now. And with the iOS device, you can actually, with the iOS app, you can actually control the features of the Zoom F6, and it can even give you more, features for you to actually mess around with. And that's basically everything about the Zoom F6. Who is this for? I would say this is for people who are very serious about their audio production game. I didn't cover a lot because it's actually quite a lot. You have to discover this thing by yourself. No matter how much I tell you, you still need to be able to take time to, discover how this thing works. But trust me when I tell you that this is a fantastic multi-track recording solution for people who really want to up their audio production game. This isn't just for, podcasts or just any random recording. No, this is for serious audio production. Now, the price also validates that, Right now, the Zoom F6 goes for $749. That's almost $1,000. So, I mean, that goes on to say without a shadow of a doubt that this is not meant for children. No, this is for serious audio production business. And with that, I think I've been able to cover most of the ground on the Zoom F6. If you guys have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Ciao.